Is it now? We're live right now?
Hey, everybody.
We're live. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. LinkedIn Live is hard, but we made it. We made it.
It's a lot of effort.
We are live in Boston. We are going to talk about the keynote this morning, the new product stuff this morning. We had Yamini's keynote. We had Andy covering amazing new product features. It was incredible. Let's start with Yamini.
The customer connectedness always resonates with me. Last year, I think she said...
M loves customer.
Yeah. She said something to the effect of, whatever your problems are in your business, the answers can be found inside of the customer, right? Just by paying attention to the customer. And it's more true this year than it was last year. And expectations from customers are through the roof. Show me, you know me, right? So creating better experiences, better interactions with one another. They talked a little bit about sales reps, right? And being as efficient as possible versus dial, because it's going to create a better experience.
The formula of like, and it's funny because I think she puts it on there as like, oh, the old world of like, you add more reps, you give them tools, you do more activity, it equals revenue. It's like literally every SKO ever in the history of mankind. Like, I'm a new VP of sales, this is my plan, like, is to do these things.
The expectation now is that, oh, you've got, a much larger target, but we're not going to give you any more people, right? I've heard that from,
you don't have
many
one
of
of
our
those.
clients. No, but like, hey, you now have to do 4x, but you have like less potential people. I think that the big play in there to make people more efficient, more effective, use data to help streamline all of that is, and Yamini, that dress actually looked fantastic.
Popping with the orange. Orange is the new black.
Personally, I was a fan of the double denim Canadian tuxedo that Petrie had.
That Petrie had? Solid outfit choices across the. I feel like if you're in product, like if I come out there like this isn't the product, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know about the product, and he comes out and there's like, oh, this is the product guy. He's like, he has the details. I think the thing that was something you touched on around expectations, I thought was really interesting because I think that what we're seeing is it doesn't matter whether or not AI is integral to your strategy. The customer expectation is that you're going to deliver an experience that includes these tools because I know they exist and I expect you to have them and I expect you to use them well.
Right, because it's not just the customer that's clued in, it's consumers, just like individual human beings in their day-to-day life. We get it. We know what every app is asking of us. We know when we click to accept the terms and conditions. We know what's out there, right? Most of us are pretty resigned to the fact, too, that, well, you've got my data and it's fine. But now the conversation is, you've got my data and it's fine, and please use it to make a good experience for me.
But it's also the internal team. It's like, if I'm signing up to work at a company, it's not just like, if I'm working in a sales organization where my expectations are rising every year, but I've got the same tools and the same resources, a company that uses AI tools, if you have HubSpot, you're going to be able to scale more efficiently. You're going to be able to do the work of more than one salesperson. Whereas if you don't have those resources, you're going to be doing the work of one person, and it's going to be really hard.
I think what's so interesting about, to your point, right, about the shift that's happening, and we came in fully expecting this was going to be like a very AI-centric inbound, right?
I was counting.
You were counting? Did you? You should have brought one of those little clickers. You could have showed it. It'd be good. But I think that we expected AI to be really centric, but I think that comparing it to, and I think intellectually, right, I compared a lot to like cloud or mobile or sort of all these shifts. I think what's really different is exactly what you just said, which is this isn't just something that customers and buyers and businesses are saying, hey, we're interested in this, we care about this, but it's core to every single organization's strategy. It's core to how people are thinking about hiring, where to work, what to do, what does my job entail, and it feels I think more akin to like smartphone proliferation of just the speed of that change is so fast because it's integrated into everything that everyone does. It's not just like business buying behavior.
What caught my eye the most and what I'm most intrigued about just around AI to continue the conversation around there is where HubSpot ends up versus, let's say, just the competitive landscape. I think at this point, AI has almost become table stakes.
Yeah.
But the big difference, and HubSpot's got a pretty good track record of executing very well, is like whose models are better, who puts it into the product in the right way that people will use it. And so the most exciting thing is not just that there was AI there, because I think a lot of products are incorporating it, but it's the the way HubSpot already has chat, and you've got content, you've got all these things that are literally built as if they knew AI was going to come one day. And then sort of the execution of that, I think will be, probably the biggest differentiator is not just having the AI, but it's like the actual implementation of it. And
let's talk product. I think that's a great transition. I think the thing that's super interesting to me, it makes me really excited about the work that we do, but also about just HubSpot and being in the HubSpot ecosystem at large, is I think the vast majority of people that use AI at work will use AI in the systems that they use every day to do their job. And for the vast majority of people in any go-to-market function, that's their CRM platform. And so when Andy talked about all of the new AI stuff, which is in everything, it's not like, hey, we have this one AI feature. It's like, here's how AI is integrated to everything that we do. What was the most exciting to you guys?
One of the most interesting was, and you kind of were touching on it, just like the ease of doing your job with some of these marketing features. So like the image assist, content assist, coming up with alt tags for all of your images for you, blog writing, all of it. Like
website builder.
Website builder, brain explodes. The landing page builder, all of that really, it makes me wonder, what is the future marketer? What are they? What do they look like? And what do they do?
Yeah, what does the future marketing
what does the future agency look like? Which maybe they harness it, right? And
I don't know
do
that
something
you
different,
need,
or maybe
I don't know that you need that
it.
agency, right? Because I think what happens is it's volume and it's output, right? Once you have proliferation of typing and typewriters and everybody can produce content, you're like, yeah, you don't have a typist anymore. You don't have an assistant who's writing up those memos. But like, the reality is the volume of content and written things that's getting produced scales up so high, and I think the same thing happens, and I think a lot of people use that agency function as a way to take, hey, I'm gonna do this campaign, here's what it's gonna be out, let me give this to my agency so we can scale that up to all of the taglines, all of the campaigns, all of the platforms, and having hubs, or ads, right?
Like I know how to write ads.
Totally, I have this campaign, here's what it is. Give me all the ads for that. That's what you emailed it to your agency, but now you do it with a click, and I think that's gonna, and I think, if you're long AI, and if you believe in what AI is capable of, you fundamentally believe that like the AI is probably going to do it better than most anybody else.
Yes. Yeah.
The thing that's most exciting to me is because generative AI, using AI for content, has become so common. It's just in everything already. I think that's pretty boring.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's everything else. It's using AI for sales analytics, for forecasting, we're talking about like chatbots that are trained on your website and your knowledge base, and how it's just like sucking in your CRM data and your website data and using all of that, and it's built into the system, which makes it better than using a third-party system where you have to like include the data in your prompt. It's just already got it.
Or a human.
Exactly. So all of that stuff that's like different and separate from content generation, which is I think where most people's mind goes, is so much more exciting to me.
Totally agree, and I think it's the very beginning of seeing that, and I think that chat is a really easy implementation of that, but I think you'll see that extend to the rest of the whole platform, and I think that's far more exciting than content assistant, which I think is super cool. Marketing content's awesome, but we're ops geeks, so we like the rest of it.
But it highlights the interconnectedness of HubSpot as a true CRM platform, right? And it's not just the AI features, although obviously they're highlighted here, but deal journey analytics, like that's a feature that was in campaigns, and now it's transitioning over and building, and I don't know, it just gets me excited that there's not going to be features or things stuck in corners, but that they're actually going to work across all of the hubs.
I think the other thing that's interesting, we talk about what happens to agencies, but what happens to more base level RevOps functions also? So if you've got AI that can put together forecasts, I mean, at some point will identify leaky aspects of a pipeline, even just spinning up basic reports like that HubSpot can basically just handle for that, then all that you kind of have left is like strategy, right?
Yeah.
Someone to take that and do something with it, or feed it the right information and the right framework.
To your point, that increases
all like the lower level activity across the board, not just on marketing, not just on sales, not just on service, I think is, I don't want to say gone, because it always gets replaced by something else.
No, I think it just gets commoditized though, right? Yeah, it moves down the stack. And I think like that means the importance of having the right architecture, having the right data, having the right setup and implementation. If you don't have that, AI tools are worthless, because to your point, they're going to spit out whatever you feed. They don't know. They have no idea.
Correct.
They're just reading what you have and then making information about that.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage in, garbage out. And before it was garbage in, human looks at it, human says maybe this is garbage, fixes it, outputs not garbage, and now that filter's gone. So it just flows all the way through. I know we could spend the whole time talking about AI. There's a bunch of other cool stuff. Maybe let's start with prospecting stuff.
Oh.
Tell us what you're worried about or afraid about. Leads,
So,
you have
like-
leads.
I was going to say, leads was the thing that made me nervous.
Don't hold back.
To the table here.
Let's hear it. Let's hear
I
it.
don't know. I mean, maybe I'm scarred from many years of using Salesforce and trying to make it work with my marketing automation platform, which almost always only just has like the one entity of a human being, either a contact, and in Salesforce it's a contact and a lead, and so that makes me nervous. Because what will that look like inside of HubSpot, right? Like, make me feel less nervous about this, history.
I think if you're a sales-driven organization, like you're sales-led, and you've got SDRs and you've got BD people that you can always need, and from a Salesforce background also, like that lead object becomes kind of like a garbage bucket that you go pull stuff from. So it's actually not terrible as long as you keep it kind of self-contained. But the biggest thing is just sort of that user experience, which HubSpot always seems to crush, right? Like, just I have a little dashboard with all of my sequences and my tasks and my calendar, and I've got one place. I don't need to go live in a bunch of tools that I can just go and do all of my work, and it's just sitting on top of sort of the larger picture of data, rather than have to use another tool on top of it.
I think that's totally part of the play, right? I think that we see it a lot where there's folks that have like an outreach or a sales off and they want to create that sales experience. I think strategically from like a HubSpot lens, that makes a lot of sense. I had the same reaction as you. I had the luxury of seeing this a little bit early, and I had the exact same reaction as you, which is I saw this and I actually think that I saw it from like the UX team, and then I emailed the product manager, and I was like, "What is this? This is not okay."
I saw just literally a Figma mock-up, and I was like, I don't know.
It was like, this is very scary.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Here's the explanation I think that made a lot of sense to me, and I think likening it to the Salesforce lead object is the wrong comparison. I think that it is, because I think that what it is it's about managing, and I'll see if you guess what you think this is in Salesforce, because we used to build a lot of this kind of stuff, is likening a individual instance of one contact's journey, which is like we met this person at Inbound, they start and sort of like came to our booth, and then we want to move them through a micro journey, and maybe that didn't go anywhere, we didn't get a deal, but then 6 months later they came to an in-market marketing event, and we engaged with them there, and then we want to kind of know what their status was in relation to us as they moved through that process. And you can have all these little micro interactions along that whole contact journey. And I think for me, it feels very similar to what we saw with like Salesforce campaign members.
I was going to say campaign members.
Campaign members, right?
Yep.
Like knowing what those are, and that makes a ton of sense. And I think that that's a big gap today, being able to know and have these micro interactions. How often do we have conversations with like our enterprise customers that are saying, hey, I'm not transactional. I don't have a contact that comes in and a week later, now they're a customer or they're not. I have a company and all these interactions with that company across all of these timelines, and I'm trying to understand how people move through all those journeys, and I want to get a picture of that at a broad scale, and I think that's really where all of that data for leads powers that into the rest of the core CRM.
That's great. Em and I have
You're
talked-
excited. I can see
I'm
you like
very
totally
excited.
180.
I'm like hyped up.
You put in a bunch of work on a prototype.
Yeah, Em and I were just talking last week or 2 weeks ago, because I have built like this entire custom object attribution system.
Yeah.
And I have that custom object that it sounds like leads is going to make obsolete, which is great. I would so much rather have it
One
built
less
in
custom object.
than have it be a custom object. But that's so much better than how I was imagining it was, which was leads as they are in Salesforce, which just ends up being a dumping ground. Yeah.
Maybe the naming.
The naming, it's hard.
brings
But it's
back-
also something people recognize, right? I think to your point though, that makes a lot of sense, and I think that it is absolutely fair. The one thing I know that isn't there today, I'm advocating for it, is that sort of campaign level of nesting everything. Because to your point, you want to know, hey, I have all these leads, that's amazing, but I want to connect those back up into something. I had a long conversation yesterday, so I've told a lot of people. We can continue if you're in the audience and you're excited about that.
We will talk about
We
it.
will talk about it
As
because
long
we
as
think
you
that
want.
it's that it's awesome and we're excited about it. And I remember we used to do that. That was a huge in the early days of A8. We did a lot of the marketing ops
Honestly,
work.
it was like the
Huge.
first 4 weeks
Yeah,
of
the main
A8
SKU. All
existing,
we
and we're
did.
like, how do we make a campaign member object in HubSpot?
Yeah, and we're like, this is ridiculous that I don't have this. And
Or make a campaign and
pre-custom
object.
objects. And then now we just build it and it's crazy. And then we're like, oh, wind it down. Let's do something else. Let's talk commerce.
Commerce.
Yeah. New hub. Is it a new hub though?
It's a SKU that can be sold, I suppose.
Can it?
Does it have a price?
Does it have a price?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We got you on that.
I know there's like a.
I think you're gonna end up like an op sub. It's an add-on to
Yeah, it's
something
like
else.
op sub.
Yeah, but it's identifiable as a hub.
I think it's more of a spoke.
You like this smoke? You like this smoke term? Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think I don't know, Ryan and I lament all SMB starter level stuff a lot of the time, and we wish a lot of the HubSpot investment was focused on all only enterprise things, but we're pretty biased. I think that
see where the head's
at. Sure it goes.
see where they're
Yeah,
going.
I get it. I think that like the I want to sell something on the internet for the first time, and that's hard to do, right? So I think it's more let's go after Square, let's go after kind of like the base level Shopify, and there's a lot of people that aren't really e-commerce businesses. They don't run a store, they don't do whatever, but maybe they do. I want to sell somebody an appointment to come and fix their HVAC machine or something to that effect. Is it HVAC a machine? Whatever it is. And I want to come and I want to help them do that particular function, and transacting, collecting a credit card, getting that whole flow booked is really hard. And I think Commerce Hub is sort of geared around that piece of it. But what I love is a lot of the work that you've done around the commerce-powered CRM, this sort of brings that front and center.
Yeah. And I think that, so you've got like 3 levels basically. There's HubSpot Payments, which is now being put into this Commerce Hub. Then a step up from that is like, you are online, you're an online payments business, and you use something like Stripe and Zebra.
Zebra plug.
Gotta plug Zebra, the Halfway app, best.
Only took 20 minutes.
Yeah, best Stripe integration. And then like beyond that, you probably have an ERP. You won't need to integrate that, and that's like you have a really complex financial
It's
model.
unique, right? I think that we run into, you see all the time,
customized.
every day, you're like, someone wants to integrate with NetSuite, and they're like, do you have a connector? Can I just buy it? And you're like, your NetSuite instance is not just like a normal thing.
Yeah. Oh, do you do like this, exactly like this? No.
No one does.
It's like literally that one person did it that way.
Yeah. Go for it.
I was going to say, I think that transition to extensibility and UI customization.
Yeah. I was just looking
like-
at my notes to see what the next thing was, and Ryan's like, can't even wait. You kick us
because
off, let's do it.
I mean, I think the biggest opportunity, and you hear me complain or ask across the board, is just as you go up market, everyone's needs become more and more unique, and exactly what a customer needs isn't something that you can just prescribe. And I mean, you can give a set of tools and a sort of framework, which I think HubSpot does really well about sort of towing that line. But I think the one thing that's been missing is I have this very unique process. It is, I want to run Medic in a very specific way with my sales team. I need this special customized service, like survey function, whatever it is. And so the ability to have individual setup, individual user experience for your different teams, be able to build native, and I stress that word, native cards with information, potentially even from another system. I need like just a special timeline. The one thing that's really important to me is a view of a map of where people are. Being able to embed those directly on the page without someone constantly going to an external service is extraordinarily exciting. And every upmarket business should be very excited about that.
Yeah, and it promotes more of that connectedness within the app. Why use a whole other tool?
That's the number one thing people ask about is like how HubSpot's really interesting. What I don't want my sales reps and my service reps to have to do is like go out to another system. And even if it's like a pop-up window, I mean, that's sort of okay, but ideally they're just on one page. They're not constantly managing tools. They don't have 700 tabs. Unless it's like different contacts across the top.
Or leads, contacts or leads.
Well,
Just kidding.
for next live.
We've been doing a lot of work with this, and I know that you've been packaging and putting together a whole bunch of stuff about what's possible with some of the new customization functionality.
Yeah, so we have a playbook that should be coming out later this week that's all about the new React CRM card beta. I was disappointed they didn't talk a lot about the new React functionality.
I think it's so big. I think it's like it's something that I just think that there's so much to cover.
Yeah,
it is. Like, also, we have these React cards. They're pretty cool. But I think for us, we're so excited about it because, to your point, right? Like every single customer on HubSpot today says, I love this functionality. It solves a lot of my problems, but I am a business, I'm of a certain size, I have unique user journeys, I have unique requirements, and I want to build a micro app that lets me solve for this problem. And these React cards let you do that all inside of HubSpot and really building on the platform itself.
Yeah, and one of the cool things that they actually did touch on today is that it's all, the access to those cards is controlled by roles and teams and all that stuff. So you can create custom experiences that if a marketing person looks at a contact record, they're going to see different stuff than if a service person looks at a contact record. So it's really customized to the teams who are using it, and it's only showing the information and the functionality that they need to do their job.
I think that what's so interesting about that, right? And I heard from somebody, this maybe is not an official stat, I have no idea, but I heard from somebody on the events team yesterday that there are more sales people at Inbound this year than ever before, and 25% of the audience. There you go. See, this isn't here.
Not terribly surprising.
No, but I think
like,
to your
user
point,
experience
this
trumps,
multiple micro apps, customization for each one of these roles and personas. Like HubSpot's not just a thing marketing people log into anymore. It's not just a thing sales people log into anymore. We see, I'm the finance administrator and I want to come in here and I want to look at a company record and I don't care about their form fills. I don't care about the meetings that are happening. I just want to see a summary of all the invoices.
Legal.
Yeah, all of these roles. I think HubSpot's just becoming more and more of a platform that the whole organization runs the business on, and I think the extensibility and customization pieces really expand that beyond, these are the sales features that we have.
They've done so much on the sales side, and we've seen it, right, with the number of people coming, and I think the next frontier, very interestingly, is service, and this enables things like field service, or if I want to see, if I'm a hardware, if I sell hardware, distributor, whatever it may be, that I can see like a card with certain machine information. Like we get that from clients all the time.
Inventory information coming from
I want to see
ERP.
inventory. I want to see a machine. I want to see whatever it is. Even a widget for like product analytics. Any of that information is remarkably valuable, and they don't have to leave. Where previously they have to go to another tab and like it's something else.
Yeah, it's not contextual, and I think the context is really what gives it power.
It saves time, and also if
use it. Because it's on the screen.
It saves time, but also just the data transfer. You're eliminating human error of people having to like copy and paste information, or just like if it's not well integrated, then it's going to cause some friction. And having it all be in HubSpot, and now with the React cards, it looks like it's part of HubSpot. It's not.
It is. Yeah, I think that's even the better part, right?
Yeah.
We're not skinning, it's actually.
Right, the data might not be, but it is part of HubSpot's UI.
Amazing. Well, that's it for us. We're really excited to come and do this. Thank you to our video crew. They're behind the camera. You can't see them, and we won't clap because they'll yell at us for disrupting their audio. But they are here this week. We have a whole bunch more video content we'll be producing, sharing with everybody, and we'll continue to share our takes from INBOUND 23. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.